about that. We totally have to talk about this.
It was one of the coolest things. And by the way, we talked about Poito from Home Depot.
Yes, if you saw the episode where Steve does his impersonation of Poito at Home Depot.
It did. Hey, bro.
A woman who was a longtime fan of yours, and she says she's been bringing family to see your show.
Okay, first of all,
sharing the podcast.
I walk on stage, and we were having to sell entire tables, which was a bummer for me because, some people don't have another couple to bring out, or they don't have another 3 couples to bring out because we were selling tables of 4 and tables of 6. So it does bum me out that, we do get these fans that go, we can't afford to buy a whole table and we don't have somebody to go with us. So for those of you, I want you to know that I hear you and I wish that we could have done something different. But I walk on stage, a table of 8, and I see Poito. Dude, like second row. And he's like, hey, dude! Like, he's like, hey, bro! Right? And I go into the material about me at Home Depot, and you could just see, like, through his mask, you could see a smile come to the other side, right? And all the people at the table were like, Poito, right? And I'm like, I see you, Poito, right? And then everybody like, oh, right. Oh. And I'm like, man, how cool is it that Poito came?
Yes.
So then, because we're trying not to expose ourselves and we're trying to be as responsible as possible, I immediately go to the green room. And in this case, it's the half of the restaurant that's closed off for me. So I go back there and Renee comes running back and she's like, hey, do you care if Poito comes back here? And I was like, well, what's going on? So now you can take it from there.
Yeah, so the lady stopped me and she explained that she was a huge fan. She's always bringing people to see your shows and trying to turn new people onto you. She went to Home Depot and found Poito to bring him to the show. He told me, he was like, I just met this woman 2 weeks ago. And like, she did her work. She showed up. He happened to be on vacation that week. So he wasn't even there. So
she doesn't know his name other than what I described and Poito.
And explains to the paint counter, like, I'm trying to find this person because they talked about him on the podcast.
They're like, oh, Poito? Yeah, dude. Pencil mustache, hair slicked back. I know who that is, right?
So she left her number and said, please have him call me. And he's like, uh-oh, why is this woman asking me to call her?
Poito came, and then I think it was his brother who was a Vietnam vet. So at the end of my show, as you know, I always give it up for veterans. And God, if I see a Vietnam vet, like my dad, like that's, and he's wearing his Vietnam vet hat. So we give it up to him. And I mean, the guy gets a standing ovation for being a Vietnam vet who's Poito's brother. And I remember at this point, I don't know that somebody has invited, one of our fans has invited Poito to come, which by the way.
Went and seeked him out.
Right. And
he hadn't even seen the podcast. She was like, look, they talk about you on the podcast. You got to see it.
So I told Renee, I'm like, of course, bring him back, right? Dude, he comes in that room like he was shot out of a cannon. Yeah. D. Bush and my friend Travis Bush, who I went to high school with, were back there. And Poito shows up, and he's like, I want my royalties, bro. Hey, how much money am I making, bro? Like, I mean, just, dude, he was killing it.
He's making everyone laugh.
Oh, my God, dude, he's making everybody laugh. And then he goes, yeah, bro, all these husbands, they come in and they say, I want that color. And he's like, hey, I'm not going to mix it until you get confirmation from your wife, bro, right? Like, he already knows.
Oh, because you gave him a hard time because you said he gave you the wrong paint.
Oh, I go, Poito, you got me in trouble. Dude, you got me satin. I didn't need satin.
And he goes, black, yeah.
And he goes, well, you're the stupid one that didn't talk to your wife. Dude, he's killing it. And then he, like, you want to talk about a moment in life that when I tell you I got emotional, I'm getting emotional right now thinking about it. I mean, dude, the guy goes, what I wouldn't get, he goes, all these guys come into Home Depot and they complain about their honeydews and they complain that their wife made them come here. He goes, what I wouldn't give to have a honeydew.
For a list of honeydews.
He said, my wife is in heaven. He goes, and nothing would make me happier than to have a honeydew. And he goes, and I miss her every single day. And then of course,
you're gonna make me cry.
Because I'm so f***ed up. My comment was, That's why I'm dying first. I go, that's why I drink. That's why I drink. Because I'm dying first. No way I'm living on this earth without my wife. I'm fucking dying first.